Friday Night Lights means it's time for the final score. Your home for hard hits, big plays, and the Basin's #1 football show. The Final Score, brought to you by these sponsors.
Once again, welcome into the Final Score, the penultimate week of the regular season, if you can believe it or not. Ben Peck joined by Aaron Reynolds, passed the protocol before the show. And Aaron, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of stars tonight.
A ton of big-time teams and big-time players in action tonight. Quite a few of them playing in our game of the week, actually. One of the hottest teams in the Basin trying to defend its home turf.
Yes, that would be, of course, the Wink Wildcats, winners of 4 straight. They're hosting Van Horn tonight in a game that ultimately could decide the district title. Well, here we go. Van Horn and Wink, 4-4, 5-3, but you see there, more importantly, both teams 1-0 in district. So let's head out to Wildcat Field. And after a long drive and only 1 completion, you know, why throw the ball if you can just give it to this guy? Matt Rosas runs it to the left, and you're going to hear his name a lot. By the way, Aaron, a freshman. So they go up 7-0. Van Horn trying to respond. Josh Mendez punches it in. They would go for 2. The Eagles come up short, though, so 7-6. Wink still on top. Then the first play of the next drive, this time it's freshman Cannon Gibson here. Makes a solid game. They're going to have a lot of team in 3 years. Look out for the Wildcats. Wink playing fast. Matt Rosas. They only needed 5 plays this drive to score it once again. Another one, make it 21-6 Wink. He's starting to get in the zone, as the kids say. Wink back at it again. And guess who? Do we have any prediction as to who's going to score this touchdown? Yes, Matt Rosas. Who is Matt Rosas? I'll make it a true daily double. He takes it in his 3rd of the half. And my, oh my, let's see this final score. 44-18. Wink wins its 5th straight, 2-0 in district, setting itself up for perhaps another district title. They get at least a share with that win. Our very own Jake Eichstedt was there, and he was able to catch up with the head coach, Brian Gibson, after the game.
The Final Score Sports Desk, brought to you by Stanley Ford.
Ben, Aaron, welcome back to Wildcat Stadium. You guys, a big win for Wink tonight, 44-18 over Van Horn. I'm here with Coach Brian Gibson. Coach, I want to first ask you, of course, you know, it's always fun when the new girl meets the old. Talk to me about, you know, your tenure with Van Horn and what it's like been coaching for the Wildcats.
You know, I said in the pregame, Van Horn's a special place. I spent 6 great years there with my family. They've got great kids. It's a great school district, and I got the utmost respect for those guys. And you know, I coach those guys out there, and I know it's hard. I know it's hard for them, but I felt it was time to leave and turn the reins over to somebody else, give them some fresh start. I couldn't be happier where I'm at. My family loves it here. It's a great community in Wink. Kids are just phenomenal, and they just get after it every week.
Well, it seems the kids really love you as well.
They do. They do. They're a little rowdy crowd back there.
Coach, you guys started off 1-3 this year, a little slow. All wins since then, averaging over 45 points a game on offense. How have you been able to turn that around?
Well, I think the kids just really understood what we were trying to sell in the beginning. We battled some tough teams in pre-district. Those first 4 games are some dynamite teams. They're pretty good. We had sustained some injuries early. It took us a while to get healthy and kind of get some consistency going. But once we got going and we knew what we were going to do offensively and rely on our offensive line, and then just we're playing great defense. Our kids are getting to the ball. They're hustling. They're working hard. And, we changed schemes defensively this year. And it was new to our kids, so it took them some time. But I think in the end, they're really feeling comfortable and confident with what we're doing.
Coach, you got McCamey next week, and they'll wrap up your regular season. You guys, these seem like similar teams more than just the colors. What will you take from tonight into next week?
We just got to continue to do what we do. We talk to the kids like we believe in what we do. As long as we can believe in what we do, they've got to do something to stop it. And so it's going to be a huge game. McCamey's going to be ready. They are well coached every year. Kids play hard. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a lot of fun for the district championship next week.
Coach Gibson, thank you so much for your time.
I appreciate it. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us out. You have a safe drive home, guys.
One go Wildcats.
44-18.
Go Wildcats!
The kids love it. That's fantastic. 44-18 win. Ben, Aaron, take it away.
Well, there you go.
Those kiddos.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, just the 14 districts. So within that same district, we had McCamey looking for its first district win in Iran, also looking for its first win in general, but
yes,
let alone first district win. So taking it out to
Brave Stadium.
To Brave Stadium, sure. Looking to beat their rival, Badger Ball. Ivan Rubio keeping it for himself there. We had a turnover on downs, and then McCamey ball, and Rubio's going to hit Carlos Rodriguez for another Badger touchdown. That would make it 13-0 at the half. Taking a look at how this one ended up. Looks like the Badgers going to get their first district win of the season with a 33-0 win over Iran.
And by the way, Badgers set themselves up for a chance to play for a share of that district title if they can knock off Wink next week.
All right, first quarter in the books. Plenty of action coming up ahead. Up next, we're going to move up to our largest classification. Midland High and Midland Lee facing off in the Tall City Classic. The Basin's best sports show. Back in 2 minutes.
Weather in the Basin area changes fast, and when severe weather rolls into your area, Big 2 News is there to give you the latest information you need to keep you and your loved ones safe. Trust the Basin's largest weather team. We will always warn you first. You're watching The Final Score, brought to you by these sponsors.
Welcome back to Final Score, continuing now with our largest schools in the Basin, District 2 6A. Another week, another rivalry game, underneath the lights.
Yeah, well, it seems like every week there's some massive rivalry here. And this week it's the Tall City Classic. Midland High and Midland Lee, some previous state champions were, by the way, they were on hand for tonight's game. The Rebels and Bulldogs trying to emulate that level of competition with that in mind.
The tradition is of being a great football team and beating people up and physically wearing people down. And so we want to make sure we play that type of football. We've made no bones about it, that within the whistle we're going to be as physical as we can be, and we're going to try to make people quit.
It's a pretty simple formula. You've got to play efficient. You can't turn the ball over, especially against Midland Lee. I mean, they're a really good football team that's firing on all cylinders right now. So we're going to have to do a good job of keeping the ball out of their hands.
So here we go. Midland High, Midland Lee. Lee trying to remain undefeated. Midland High needing a win to remain in playoff contention. They've made the playoffs 5 straight postseasons. And before the game, 1971-2001 baseball team for Midland High, 98-2000 Midland Lee Rebel football teams, all state champions, all going into the MISD Hall of Legends. Well deserved for those young men. First drive, Lee gets a touchdown from Ryan Quiros. 7-0 Rebels. Dogs trying to get something going. Daniel Garcia bouncing it to the outside and making some moves down the field. But later on in that drive, Aaron, I hope you're bracing yourself for this one.
Oh, no.
Looks like he's going to make a move. Charles Gonzalez laying the lumber down. Oh, my goodness. that drive would not go anywhere. And then later on, there goes that man again, Quiros.
Mama, there goes that.
There he goes. I hope he's had him starting in, I don't know, the flex position or something.
Flow in the wind.
He's got the flow. He's got the flex. He's got the touchdown, 14-0 Midland Lee, and see the final score here. 49-6. The Rebels on top. And by the way, with that loss, Midland High eliminated from the playoffs, so that postseason streak comes to an end at 10 games.
Yeah, a lot of these games are kind of shaken up tonight instead of next week. We had Permian on the road up in Wolford taking on Friendship, looking to stay undefeated in district play. But before we get to those highlights, we wanted to spotlight our athlete of the week. Permian's Carson Roberts. He kicks, he punts, he just does it all.
He really does.
Last Friday against Midland High, he made all 8 of his extra point attempts, and he also converted a couple of field goals from distance, one from 40 and the other from 43. The senior finished that night with 14 points.
Well, that's good enough for 2 touchdowns right there. Nicely done. We'll go up to this game in Wolford. Quarterback Donovan Smith, Giococa, 2 of the many players, band members, cheerleaders being honored before the game for senior night. And here we go to the highlights. Friendship brings the D early, stuffing the Panthers' first drive, forcing a punt with the sack of Easton Hernandez. And then Tigers on offense, Donovan Smith with the keeper from more than 20 yards out, puts the Tigers on the board first. You got to stretch it out to break the plane there, Aaron. And Tigers, again, they strike early. Next possession for Mojo. 4th and short, Tristan Laughlin able to get the sack for the Tigers. Second quarter, Permian trailing 10-0. Malachi Medlock gets a first down run here for Mojo. They would make it a field goal to make it a 1-possession game. And then Friendship, their drive led to a missed field goal. Permian with the ball deep on their own side. Harper Terry, though, picked off by Logan Douglas, and that sets up a 1-yard touchdown run. And then the Tigers would just keep it going. Donovan Smith would have another touchdown to Jordan Madden, which made it 24-3 at the half. And as we see here, Permian comes up short 24-13. So the 5-game win streak is over for Permian. And Permian and Wolford come into a tie for second place as well. We're going to take a look at the standings in a little bit, but that's the latest.
Then we had Tascosa looking to potentially eliminate Odessa High tonight with a win. Broncos still scoreless in district play. We're going to start, but we would start the scoring quickly in this one. Danny Servance trying to motivate his kiddos there about a minute into the game. Tascosa with the ball, and Jayton McMorris is going to be the one to run this win. So the Rebels go up 7-0 after that made extra point. Tascosa with the ball again after an OHS touchdown. But the Broncos defense going to show off a little bit, and they're going to get a stop on 4th down. So we're going to turn the ball over. Odessa High with the ball, but they shut this one up, and it's going to be intercepted. That's Major Everhart who comes up with the ball. Going to make a nice little gain for the Rebels here. The Broncos would hold them to a field goal, however, so it would just be 10-6 after that. Odessa High responding with a field goal of their own, though, toward the end of the first half. So Rebels would lead 10-9 at the end of the second quarter. But Tascosa would blow things open toward the end of the third and then into the fourth. They end up winning this one 31-15. So the Broncos are also eliminated from the playoffs.
And we're going to take a look at the standings. As we mentioned, you see there, Midland Lee, they have clinched a share of the district title. Worst case scenario for them, Permian beats them next week, Friendship wins, and you have a 3-way tie just like you did last year. Tascosa, with Midland High and Odessa High going out, they are in the playoffs, and you see there with just 1 week left to go, not enough time for Odessa High and Midland High to make up that ground. They are both eliminated.
We're going to move down to 4A now. Andrews visiting San Angelo Lakeview. Andrews 1-0 in districts. Lakeview 0-1 out in San Angelo Stadium. We're going to start here in the first quarter. Andrews already with an early 7-0 lead. Brett Leach finding Marquise Lawrence for a Mustang touchdown. They extend that lead 14-0. Following that score, next possession for Andrews. Leach drops back, tosses this one up, and guess who?
I'm going to go Marquise?
Yes, that's correct. Lawrence for another touchdown. Mustangs lead 21-0. After that, let's go to the second quarter now. Mustangs with a 27-0 lead. Trying to add a little bit more. Leach is picked off. You don't see that very often.
Very recurrent.
By Lakeview's Cody Cabrera, they're going to put together a nice little drive following that interception. But on 4th and 10, Albert Rodriguez trying to hit Johnny Espinoza there, swatted down. Turnover on downs. Andrews marching right back down the field, capped off by Lucas Esparza run there. That would give Andrews a 33-0 lead Taking a look at the final from this one, Andrews would go on to get another district victory with a 61-18 win over St. Angelo Lakeview. So the Mustangs improved to 2-0 in district play.
There we go. And Seminole, if they could get a win over Big Spring, they would move to 2-0, set up a
That's true.
de facto district championship game next week. Head out to Wigwam Stadium, Seminole and Big Spring. Into the first quarter, Indians already up 21-0. Jason Mejia is going to slip a tackle right here and go on into the end zone. 28-0 again at the end of the first quarter. Ensuing drive, Big Spring looking to move the ball down the field quickly. They, still plenty of time, but we want to get it going sooner rather than later. Gabriel Baeza airs one out, but just past the outstretched arms of Jose Cantu. Pass ball's incomplete. Indians offense, though, they wouldn't stop at all. Oh, my goodness. Inside handoff to Mejia. Slips the tackle, stays on his feet, and fights through the contact. 35-0. Indians in front after that long touchdown run. Still in the second quarter, Seminole clicking on offense. This time it's Damian Espino getting his chance, and he works his way to the end zone for another score, and the final score in this one, Seminole convincing win 52-7 over Big Spring. So again, Aaron, as we mentioned, the Seminole-Andrews matchup coming up next week will be for district title.
All right, we're going to keep it rolling with 4A here, moving into that large 17 district in District 2. Monahans visiting Greenwood. Rangers still undefeated on the season. First quarter, Greenwood with an early 8-0 lead, and here Weston Wilbur plays the keeper to extend that lead to 14-0 still in the first. Later on in the same quarter, Monahans would take over with the ball. Lobos looking to cut that lead in half. Bond Heplin searches, chucks this one up, and hits Dominic Paredes in the end zone. So the Lobos managed to cut that lead in half, 14-7 into the second quarter now. Greenwood with the ball once again, and Trey Cross is going to be the one to run this one into the end zone. So Greenwood extends that lead 21-7 there in the second quarter. And the Rangers go on to maintain that undefeated regular season record with a 49-7 win over the Lobos.
And again, that was their last game of the regular season, so they finished it out. Now, Aaron, I got to ask, are you a fan of some chaos? Because we're about to get some right here. Sweetwater 35-21 over Fort Stockton. Fort Stockton came into this game, they came in opposite records. Fort Stockton 6-2, Sweetwater 2-6, but now both of them 2-3 in district.
And also, Snyder on the road visiting Lamesa. Golden Tours still going to be looking for that first win of the season because Snyder wins this one 21-8.
Yeah, Lamesa eliminated from the postseason as we look at those standings. And oh my goodness, remember, 4 teams make the playoffs. So, Aaron, how would you like to be one of those tied for 4th place teams?
Ben, this gives me such a headache trying to figure out all the different ways someone could make the playoffs in this district.
Goodness. Yeah, so
it's going to come down to the last week, though.
It is. It's going to be a fun week there, and I believe Pecos and Snyder, you're feeling good if you're one of those teams. I'm not even sure they've clinched a bit at this point. You could have a 4-way tie for 3 spots.
Greenwood's going to make it, folks.
Yes, Greenwood, the only sure thing from that district.
All right, got some more scores here for you. Kermit on the road visiting Denver City, and they're going to take a loss to the Mustangs, 63-21, your final up in Denver City.
And Reagan County, Alpine Reagan County was looking for its first win, but you see here the Fighting Bucks blanking them at home. Fighting Bucks are 7-2 on the season, 2-0 in district play. So nicely done.
Staying in that same district. Crane on the road over in Anthony, and then you know, we talk about those 6-man teams, 45 teams all the time. Crane just 80'd the Wildcats. 6-6 air final. So Golden Cranes get another big win this year.
That will set up a 2-0 Crane versus 2-0 Alpine for a district championship next week. As we move to another district in 3A Division 2, Coahoma at home against winless Colorado City, and the Bulldogs get the big win as expected. They move, Coahoma does, to 7-2 on the year.
And Idalou over in Stanton, Wildcats going to get a win over the Buffs, 44-6.
Yes, and I believe with that, Stanton possibly eliminated from the postseason. We'll have to double check on that. Forsan at Holly, and let's see how this game went down. Holly, by the way, the number 5 team in the state of Texas for their classification. Forsan offense struggling early, and then the pass here from Major Stockton picked off. Looks like Bearcats They know what to do with it. Looks like they've done this before, Aaron. That's a very good team. Again, Holly, 8-0, 2-0 in district on the year. Forsan needing a win tonight to hang on to a chance at making the playoffs, but you see they're coming up short, 50-7 against a very good team. Forsan, unfortunately, looking like they're going to miss the playoffs even after improving so much from last year, but a lot of young playmakers on that team, Aaron, and I think they'll be something to keep an eye on going forward.
We're going to move down to some six-man action now. Number 1, Balmorhea, still undefeated so far this season. As you can see here, they get a nice Mercy Rule win over Fort Davis, 64-0. Indians fall to 1-1 in district play.
Yeah, and remember, folks, only 4 teams, or excuse me, only 2 teams make the playoffs in the 6-man district. So Rankin was taking on Marfa. They get a win, 54-0. They 45 the Shorthorns. So 2-0 in district Rankin, 2-0 in district Balmorhea. Rankin number 6 in the latest statewide poll. We're
going to keep it rolling with the Mercy Rules here. Borden County with a 58-6 win over the Lubbock Homeschool Titans. So the Coyotes, this kind of snuck up on me, I guess. 4-0 now in district play, excuse me,
3-0. This is a they had to
3-0, but 9-0.
9-0, number 3 team in the statewide poll, and this was a district game from that district coming up here. Grady and Klondike. By the way, I believe Borden County is looking for like their 12th consecutive district title, but the Cougars with a nice 46-0 win at home over Grady, and so Klondike with that win moves to 2-1 in district. That could be the game that puts them in the playoffs over the Wildcats.
Stan's still looking for that first win of the season, and it looks like they're gonna get it tonight.
Well, there we go.
Mustangs with a 48-0 win over O'Donnell.
Well, nicely done. Garden City 60-12 over Roscoe Highland, and I talked to Coach Jeff Jones. And he's hoping for a good performance. It looked like he got it.
Yeah. All right, Buena Vista on the road taking on Grand Falls. Royalty just down the road. And the Cowboys get a nice district win, 58-12. Grand Falls Royalty.
Grand Falls Royalty, they are really good. Erie County, by the way, in Sanderson, that's a game. It's going to be tomorrow on Saturday, so another 6-man game there. Non-district, Erie County going to be, they're independent this year, so they'll be in kind of a district next year, but we'll see how that game goes. And coming up next on the final score, got the best highlight of the night. Our play of the week is coming up, but that's not all, folks.
And we'll also amp up some excitement. Get ready to hear from some percussion, some winds, and the brass, our band of the week performance after the break.
117. 57.
55. 37.
What do all these people have in common? It's the number of miles they were willing to travel to get the right vehicle at the best price.
So, what's your number?
See something in Lake Online but short on time? We'll even bring the test drive to you. Stanley Ford Andrews. Check us out online at StanleyFordAutoAndrews.com.
You're watching The Final Score, brought to you by these sponsors.
Well, just past the halfway point in the show, so Aaron, I would say, an intermission in order. And as we've discussed, Midland Lee enjoying an excellent season on the field so far. You might say the Rebels a mighty good team.
Yeah, they sure have been. One group that's been there every step of the way is the mighty Rebel Band. They're also
goodness, would you
our
look at
final
that?
score fan of the week. pretty.
Yeah, nice little alma mater there for Midland Lee with those state championships teams on hand. So nicely done. We do have a final score correction for you. Unfortunately,
I messed up.
Yeah, Aaron, she just put in the numbers wrong. Aaron, we're just totally putting it on you, Aaron.
Yeah, I'll take the blame.
Unfortunately, Sands, for the Mustang fans, that score flip-flopped. O'Donnell a 48-0 win over Sands. So the Mustangs end their season winless.
They were still looking for that first win, technically, I guess.
They were. Yes. And thanks again to the Mighty Rebel Band, our band of the week. But we're going to now return to the action on the field, and we've got a pretty dynamic duo.
One of my favorite parts of the night. It is time for our final score play of the week. I think we mentioned this duo a lot.
I think we do.
Probably not surprising that we're going to bring up an Andrews duo.
Oh, and by the way, second week in a row that we've had some sort of Brett Leach, Marquise Lawrence connection here.
That's true.
Against San Angelo Lakeview here, a nice little adjustment from Mr. Lawrence at the end of this play. And Andrews goes on to get a nice little win over San Angelo Lakeview. They win their 8th game in a row. And that Mustangs offense, it is, I would say, fun to watch.
Sure is.
All right, well, one final break coming up, but when we come back, we bring you our final thoughts from an action-packed Week 10 of high school football.
You're watching The Final Score, brought to you by these sponsors.
Well, 10 weeks sure have come and gone very quickly. Just one more set of games before the start of the postseason.
Yeah, some of those playoff brackets starting to take shape. Teams starting to hit their stride at the right time as we approach that by-district round. And that definitely, of course, is the case for the home team in our game of the week.
Yeah. Super exciting. Wink taking on Van Horn. We're going to check in with our Game of the Week reporter, Jake Eichstadt, to hear his final thoughts from that game.
The Final Score Sports Desk, brought to you by Stanley Ford.
Ben, Aaron, welcome back to Wildcat Stadium. You guys, it was a big win for Wink tonight over the Van Horn Ingles. You heard from Coach Brian Gibson. He's really proud of the way his defense have played, but personally what I would like to talk about is the offense. They have been absolutely balling recently. They started off 1-3, as we talked about earlier, but they are now on a 5-game win streak, averaging over 45 points in that win streak, seeming to dominate their district play. Van Horn, most of their scores came, late in that fourth quarter. So, again, props to their defense, really keeping them, bottled up all game. But back to that offense, you guys, Zach and Matt Rosas, these guys are brothers. They seem to have all the purpose yards for Wink. And I believe Zach actually kicks the extra point. So just in terms of scoring, it's all the Rosas down here in Wink. And they're really happy to have them. And they'll be even more happy going against McCamey next week with the Rosas brothers in full effect. Guys, that'll be for the district championship. However, Wink has already gotten at least a share of it. If they win next week, they get the outright district title. Ben, Aaron, take it away.
All right. Thanks, Jake.
Well, there we go. And, yeah, that'll be another exciting game next week. A lot of potential de facto district championships games. But, Aaron, a lot of interesting results, a lot of surprising results. I know you have your eye on maybe one that might be able to fall in that category.
Well, speaking of district championships, I think I expected one next week, Midland Lee taking on Permian, but Friendship actually took that away from an outright championship for Permian tonight. The Tigers getting a win over the Panthers, snapping their win streak and also ruining their chance of winning a district title outright. They have the possibility now to share that with Midland Lee next week. Of course, we have that iconic rivalry game next Friday night, and so that'll determine whether or not the Rebels get to share that. But yeah, I was a little surprised by the outcome of this one.
And for me, I'm going to have to give it, they came up short, but I got to give a shout out to Midland High and Odessa High. Odessa High playing, they controlled their own destiny. Everything on the line, and they played Tascosa really tough. They were down by just 2 points there in the third quarter, and for Midland High, the Bulldogs, a young team this season, it just hasn't gone their way, but 5 straight postseason appearances before tonight. That streak comes to an end. Certainly something to hold your head up high if you're a Bulldog fan, and really for the kids, that were part of that, a memorable achievement for all of those kids. Well, that is going to do it for Final Score. Again, last week of the regular season coming up next week. We'll see you then.